The NFL is a lot different than it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, the game was run dependent, and running backs would be the main key of the game. But now it's very pass heavy, which is why now running backs aren't getting as high of contracts, and why you rarely ever see a 2,000-yard rusher anymore. The last 2,000-yard rusher was so many years ago with Adrian Peterson. So with the game becoming so much more pass heavy, running backs aren't needed as much, causing running backs to not get as big of a contract. So I thought it would be a great idea to make a video about overpaid and underpaid NFL running backs. What's up everybody, it's AC Analysis. Today I'm going to be making a video about 3 underpaid and overpaid NFL running backs. I already made a quarterback version of this and it got tons of support. I'm sorry for the inconsistency in content. I've just been busy recently and been taking a little bit of a break. But now I'm going to be going back to my original schedule of one video once every 2 days for you guys. We're on the road to 50 subscribers, so if you enjoy consistent football content, be sure to like and subscribe. It would be pretty awesome. And let's get to the video. So the first underpaid player on our list will actually be Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a running back for the Tennessee Titans, and this man's an absolute monster. His entire career, people were hoping that Derrick Henry would just shine and explode onto the scene, and last year he finally did that, rushing for 1,500 yards, and he signed a new massive contract with the Tennessee Titans with $13 million a year. So this guy's an absolute monster, but I feel like he's underpaid, because the Tennessee Titans would be nothing without Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry is not just a giant rusher, right? He also opens up the passing game, because Derrick Henry, being a big threat, let rookies like A.J. Brown in the receiving corps be able to show what they're capable of doing. The defense is so focused on defending against Derrick Henry that it gives Ryan Tannehill some more free space to throw it to his receivers. A.J. Brown, the rookie, got over 1,000 yards last season. I promise you he would not have gotten close to 1,000 yards if it was not for Derrick Henry. This man carries his team on his back, and he is such a threat that teams have to focus on him. And because of this, I feel like $13 million a year is just not right for him. He deserves easily to be one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid running back in the NFL. So yeah, I think he's underpaid. So the first overpaid player on our list will be Le'Veon Bell of the Jets. Last season, Le'Veon Bell had 245 rushing attempts for 789 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not really the most spectacular stats, and he missed all of 2018 because he not opt out, but he wanted a new contract, never got it. Missed the entire 2018 season. And then the Jets signed him for a massive contract, making him one of the highest paid running backs in the league. He gets paid more than Derrick Henry. This man is not worth the amount of money that he gets. He's guaranteed $35 million. He has a $52 million contract. And the reason I think he's very overpaid is because he's on a Jets team. The Jets are just in complete shambles right now, and I don't see them really going that far. They're not as bad as, let's say, the Washington Redskins right now, but they're in no shape to be paying a running back that much money, especially when he puts up mediocre stats like he did last season. He averaged 3 yards a carry. So sure, Le'Veon Bell, I see why they might have signed him for that much, but right now, at this specific moment, he is very overpaid, and I bet you guys think too he does not deserve the 3rd highest running back contract in the NFL. Like, Le'Veon Bell wasn't the greatest. It wasn't great to spend so much money on him, but like I said, I could see why they did that, because when Le'Veon Bell was on the Steelers, that man was a complete monster. Just his running style was incredible to watch. I loved to watch him finding a way to shift through millimeter holes and turn them into 30-yard runs. So he was a once-in-a-generation type talent, and I see why they signed him. I just don't think they should have signed him for that much money after he missed an entire NFL season. It's like giving Gronk the biggest tight end contract in NFL history. It just should not have happened in the first place. So next up on our underpaid list is Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb is currently still on his rookie contract, but he could have signed an extension for extra money. An example of this is Saquon Barkley, who was taken in the exact same draft as Nick Chubb, currently has the 3rd biggest NFL contract in the league for running backs. So Nick Chubb hasn't signed a bigger contract yet, and I could have put Dalvin Cook on this list instead of Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb has just had better all-around stats than Dalvin Cook, to the point where I could see why the Vikings haven't signed him to a big extension with a lot of money yet, because Dalvin Cook in his first season had 615 yards, and then in his next season he had 1,100, compared to Nick Chubb, who in his first season had 1,000, then the next season 1,500. So this man has showed that he can do it, and has showed that he's more promising over a longer period of time, making the Browns be able to feel more comfortable signing Nick Chubb to an extension. So I feel like Nick Chubb is very underpaid, getting paid $1.5 million a year, when he should be getting paid at least $10 million a year. So I feel like Nick Chubb is very, very underpaid. Or at least they should assign him to a contract extension by now. So the next overpaid player on our list will be David Johnson. David Johnson is most well known for his 2016 NFL season, where he had 1,300 rushing yards and 900 receiving yards, with 80 catches and 20 total combined touchdowns. This man was in the MVP race. But in 2017, 2018, and 2019, David Johnson's been really injured. So the Texans decided to pick him up this season with a 3-year, $13 million a year contract. So this man is getting paid more than the likes of Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley. This man's getting paid more than many, many great players in the NFL, and he's been signed to a long contract for 3 years. I feel like it would be okay if you got a 1-year, $13 million contract, but because his contract lasts over a span of 3 years, I think he's being overpaid, because this man hasn't showed anything worth of a 3-year, $39 million contract. Because when someone's injured like this, you gotta give him a proven contract. Can you do this? Can you play in the NFL still, or are you just gonna get the injury bug all the time? So because of this, I feel like David Johnson is overpaid, or he's getting paid too much for too long. So on my underpaid list so far, I've had some pretty big name players like Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb, so I wanted to put someone that's not as big of a name of a player, and that is Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen is famous for being like a 5'6" running back, which is basically unheard of these days, and he averages like 400 rushing yards a season, but that's not why he's worth a lot of money. In 2018 and 2019, he had a total of 80 receptions for about 600 receiving yards each of those seasons, and he only makes $750K a year. This man, in my opinion, stats-wise alone, is worth about $3 million a year, and he is such a weapon. This man is a really scary weapon who catches the ball. He's fast, he's agile. This man is a really good player, and he's a threat on the field. So because of this, I feel like Tariq Cohen is very, very underpaid. I understand why they haven't paid him yet, but just the impact that he's making in the game receiving-wise makes me feel like he definitely should be getting a contract soon. And if not with the Bears, it should definitely be with another team, and it should not be worth only $750K a year. And now the final overpaid player on our list will be Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon currently has a 2-year, $16 million contract, and to be fair, I don't feel like he deserves a contract that big. I feel like, has always been a little bit overrated for what he has done. The most he's ever gotten in a season was 1,100, and the rest of his career has basically just been being plagued with injuries. 2019, 2018 were both injury-plagued seasons. So this man does not deserve to be getting paid $5,000 more a year than Saquon Barkley. This man does not deserve a contract that big. Sure, it's 2 years, $16 million. It's kind of a prove-it deal, but the Broncos needed a running back, so they signed Melvin Gordon. Just the contract, I don't feel like is worth it to a man who can very easily get injured, and he has gotten injured a lot. And the thing about the contract is that $13.5 million of it is guaranteed. I would be somewhat okay with this contract if like $5 million of it was guaranteed, but to a man who gets injured so much, guaranteeing so much money to him, in my opinion, is not the greatest contract. Like in my overpaid underpaid video and videos that I make kind of like this, there's always like few players that you're like, they might deserve this contract, they might not. This one is kind of like, I'm not sure, he might deserve it, he might not. In my opinion, he does not deserve a contract this big, or at least you can't guarantee him this much money. Anyway guys, that's wrapped up this video. This has been AC Analysis on 3 overpaid and 3 underpaid running backs. Like I said in the beginning, I'm sorry for the inconsistency with uploads. I will get back to posting 1 video every 2 days. Thank you guys for watching. We're on the road to 50 subscribers, and see you next time.